Good morning, afternoon, or evening. It's a stormy day here on the Riviera Line, 7:49, 7 stormy morning. In the autumn, we're going to go ahead and take one more passenger service along the Riviera Line. 50-minute scenario and battle with the consequences left from a storm that hit last night. Keep a lookout for the temporary speed restriction. Ooh, a temporary speed restriction. Interesting. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this, and let's see what we have to deal with. This is the 0751 to Paignton. It's a mixed morning with bad weather last night causing disruption along the coast. Network Rail are out checking the line, so there will be some delays along the way. Okay. Headlights. Again, I don't think the headlights are working. There they are. So we're going to bring that up. We're going to do the AWS self-test. I am 100% sure that we are at Exeter St. this time. I am looking at the HUD this time when I say it. I know I said last time we were starting there, it was actually Dawlish, which is coincidentally one of our stops on the line. We're stopping at all stations, I believe. Yep, all stations down to well, except for a couple along the Paignton branch, but we are otherwise stopping at, I think it's just Tor that we're not stopping at. Oh well, we're stopping at pretty much everything along the line except for one station, I think. So let's go ahead and get busy. We're waiting for a red to clear here to allow us to go. We saw the HST leaving ahead of us. So it's going to be heading off most likely towards Plymouth. We're going to go ahead and just take the Paignton branch. So I'm going to go ahead and just inch forward, but there's not much we can do yet. We have to wait for the line to clear for us. In reality, you might not move until it's time to go, but in my sake, I want to get towards the signal and be ready to go right away. So I'll go ahead and I'll brake right here because we are within the signal range now. If I take the brakes off, it looks like I am holding my ground, so I'm going to go ahead and just stay where I am. There's our yellow. We are routed onto the down main line. So we are going to go ahead and get onto that line. We have to keep in mind that we are traveling under a cautionary yellow aspect. We know that we are following another train, but we can't consider ourselves out of this until we see any kind of signal that says otherwise. We have to turn on the wipers. A little dangerous out here today. So I've gone ahead and cut off the speed until we get into the 30. Now I'll go ahead and I'll increase the speed slightly. I'm going to cut it off again. So we are going to be entering a 75, but as you can see, Exeter St. Thomas is indeed our first stop. So we have to be there at 7:54, not much we can do. So I'll increase speed a little way, but then we're going to have to hit the brakes immediately. Right now, it is, as far as we know, it's a red signal at the end of that platform. So we're going to come in assuming that we will get an emergency brake trigger at the front of the platform if we don't slow down in time. So I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down right now to make sure we're ready for the stop. We do have a whole minute to make the stop, which is plenty of time. Went ahead into a step 2 for just a moment. And for right now, I'm going to ease it off. And let's resume braking. It looks like I do have a yellow signal at the end of the platform, so I'm going to hold off on the brakes right now. I'm going to keep the engine coasting. We are being warned about that yellow signal up ahead. We are now in the platform, so I'm going to go ahead and do a stop within the range of the station here. We do now have a green signal, and I'm kind of stopping a little further along the platform than I want to, but it is still illegal. It's all platform, and doors are open, and we have made our stop at Exeter St. Thomas. Departing away from Exeter St. Thomas, our speed limit is set at 75 miles per hour. We have about 7.5 miles to go to Starcross Platform 1. I had the bug happen again where the train didn't want to move, and now my headlights seem to be doing weird things, but now I have them working again. So everything is as it should be at this time, and we are going to continue towards Starcross Platform 1. So some people might be saying, oh, you're not doing certain things you should have set up the train. Well, we have limited things we can do in this model of the train, first of all, so that's my first counter-argument. And second of all, this bug keeps happening, which means I'm going to have to reload and come back into the scenario all the time anyway. So I've gotten in the habit of saving doing a save game at every single station along this particular journey. I have not had to do this with any other route, only with this route, only with this train. I'm going to hope that it's just a train bug, and that as long as I don't drive this train, I don't have that problem. But I'm going to do some more research on that, ask some people other people who might know more about that, may have driven this train on other routes. And if they tell me it's a problem with the train itself, well, I know never to use this train for a scenario. That's all I can say for that. Unless it's an express service, then I can probably get away with it. So yeah, that's probably one reason why the Armstrong version gets a lot more love than this one does, to say the least. In any case, we are proceeding towards Starcross on this really mucky, ugly day. Now, we've been told that there is a temporary speed restriction. I don't know where that speed restriction is, but it's probably just in place somewhere where the workmen are working on the route. Speaking of whistles, and in this weather, I'm not going to try to call out every crossing as we go because it's a futile effort. Especially when some of the things between Exeter St. Thomas and Starcross have changed. I'm basically guessing at this point what is what. But if I do drive along this portion of the route again in the future, and I have a lot of scenarios, so I very likely will with another train, then I'll see if I can do a quick drive of the route to using probably this scenario, because this covers all the entire distance of the route. And I'll see if I can give you an indication of exactly what each of these changed items might be at that point. Until then, there's no point to really do it, because right now I'm leaving the route after this scenario. So in the future, I will try to get those differences in present day and today ironed out. So we're over 70 miles per hour, which tells me we're going to have a change in speed soon anyway, because we know that 80 miles per hour is about the highest we can get on this journey. And that means that there's going to be a speed sign coming up soon. I will point out that major road we crossed. The major road, I believe, was... Actually, I don't remember which road that was. I want to say the Tipper's Culvert, but I'm not 100% sure. That could have been the M5 as well, but we don't seem close enough to Starcross for that to be the M5. I didn't see the signs. I was looking at my notes on the crossings, so... But I think that was Exminster Crossing. That would make this Exminster Road. That's the oddest horn I've ever done. Yep, there's, as I predicted, 80 is the fastest we've ever gotten. We're up to 75. Here comes the sign for 75. We're going to act like we have no information on that yet, because in reality, you would drive along until you get the warning. This stretch of track has the most at-grade crossings of the entire part of the journey that we're taking today, of our entire service. There's our warning for the 75-mile-per-hour speed board coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and just ease the throttle down to nothing and see if we can actually pull off a decline to that before the 75. I don't think it's going to happen. It's going down very, very slowly on this level ground. The little uphill is... Oh, we're going to make it. Okay. We made it before the sign. In fact, we're down to 75 and under 75 before the sign. We're going to have a slight uphill gradient right after the speed limit starts. You probably know that. We've already seen it several times. And there's Starcross Station coming up. I'm just going to go ahead and coast. There's no reason to try to maintain 75 at this point. At this speed limit, the extra 2 or 3 kilometers is really immaterial. So we're not going to try to push it. Says the guy looking at the time saying he has a minute to go to make the stop. This is going to be a very tight stop. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go ahead and put a few more kilometers on. Change my mind. And no more of that. We're done with that. So I'm going to do a step 1 brake application. I'm going to quickly move that up to a step 2 when I get to about half a mile. Okay, step 2. I'm going to move it back to a step 1. I'm trying to ease it down in enough time to make the stop safely and without too much passenger discomfort. So back to a step 2, and I'm going to release it back to a step 1 again. I have to ease the brakes off at this point because I'm coming in a little slower than I thought. We have a 4-car train. You might have noticed in an earlier picture, so I'm trying to go by the 4-car stop. But I may have to just go ahead and abandon that because I'm slowing down faster than I thought. So we're going to go ahead and just stop here and open the doors. Arrival at Starcross Platform 1. Departing away from Starcross Platform 1, our next stop is Dawlish Warren. In about 2 miles from now, we have to keep in mind there's a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit before Dawlish Warren. And in case you're wondering, yes, the bug occurred again. So I am doing creative cutting to get around the bug cropping up on the various stops here where I can't move. So this is my 3rd attempt to play this scenario now in one sitting. But I'm taking a save, like I said, at every station just in case it happens, which also helps deal with any speeding penalties I might incur. You never see them. So it looks like I'm doing a good job, right? And no, I have not had any yet. I'm just throwing that out there. Kind of convenient that things like to screw up at every station for me. So the beach is not going to be very busy today. I'm going to show you something interesting though. Now this is a weird little thing with the way the game is coded, I guess. If I look on top of the train here, look at the lovely sunlight. Yeah, that's sunlight. Thankfully, we don't have to drive towards that water because that would be pretty ugly if we had to see that. That was a very high whistle board. I don't remember it being that high. Interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to slow down. We have the 25 coming up, so I'm just going to coast at this point. This is a very, very tight timetable, I'm noticing. I don't know if I like that. So there's our diversion area yellow. I'm going to start slowing down now for the 25. I'm going to slow down a little more now. I'm going to ease the brakes off. We're getting alerted to our diversion. I'm coming a little quicker than I thought towards 25, so I eased off for a moment. I'm going to ease off again. We're going to be moving one lane towards Dawlish Ward, which is to our left, I guess? I thought it was to our right, but apparently it's to our left. Okay, there is a Dawlish Ward to our left. There you go. I think each side has a platform, if I'm not mistaken. As you can see, we're currently angling to be late here, which there's not much we could do about that. We couldn't do anything to get up to a faster speed, so we're literally angling to be late right now. So as soon as I can stop at the station, I'm going to do so. Like now. Even if I'm not fully in the station, I have to stop now. Doors are open and I should still be on time. We'll find out in a moment. Arrival at Dawlish Warren. Network Rail is operating, single line working ahead. You will be running on the up line between here and Teignmouth. Watch out for trackside workers as you go. Roger. Thanks to the station hands for giving me that information. We're going to speed up to 25 miles per hour immediately, and then we're going to cross a couple lines. That 4-6 car stop sign, that is where we were supposed to stop on our previous stop, but unfortunately, because of the absolutely ridiculous timetable, I don't know how I wanted to say that, I didn't have time to get to the end of the platform, so I had to stop where I stopped, and so be it. So now we're on our main track. Now we're going to move over to the up track. So we're going down on the up track, and once the entire 4-car train is crossed over, we will be able to go right now at the 80, but then at the 70 miles per hour. And now we're going to move to 75 miles per hour at the next speed post. Now I'm going to let you know a little secret here. There's a problem with this next section. The temporary speed restriction is before Dawlish platform. In fact, you can see it right there. That is a 10 mile per hour speed restriction. It is not located at the correct point on the HUD. The 10 mile per hour speed restriction actually occurs about, I want to say, a tenth or 2/10 of a mile before you see it on the HUD, so you have to plan accordingly to be at that speed before you reach it on the HUD. Because you actually will pass the sign marking that 10 mile per hour restriction before you pass it on the HUD. I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. Let's take the speed off and let's start slowing down for that speed restriction. We have 2 minutes to arrive roughly, so we're good. I'm going to go ahead and put on a step 2 application for a moment. We still have plenty of time to slow down, so I'm not too worried. I just don't want to rush into the speed area again. We're going to see a yellow indicator on the sign indicating that there is a temporary speed restriction ahead. I'm going to pause right there. There it is. So you can see the temporary speed restriction sign there. It doesn't really give an indication what the speed is, but that's what the sign means. So we have 0.3 of a mile to get down to that speed, which is 10 miles per hour. So I'm just coasting it down right now, which may be a bad decision. So you can see the yellow sign ahead. I'm now down to 10 miles per hour. And as we cross into the station, you're going to see the sign on our right. There it is. We're now under the 10 miles per hour, but we still are 0.05 of a mile away from the sign on the HUD. Can you see the problem here? This may impact our stop at Dawlish, this bad placement on the HUD. I don't know why there are passengers on that platform. That station's not getting used. Let's go to step 2 application, get the doors open quickly. Arrival at Dawlish on the up platform. Pulling away from Dawlish Station. We are currently under the guise of a 10 mile per hour speed limit due to Network Rail work after a storm. So we're going to have to maintain that 10 mile per hour speed limit, which is going to be a little tricky because there is a downhill gradient that normally does not affect us. Normally it's a gradient that we're coming from the other direction, we're slowing down as we come in. And even going in the other direction, we normally don't have to deal with this downhill gradient. But because of the 10 mile per hour speed limit and us already being at 10 miles per hour, you can see this downhill gradient is really going to affect us. So we have to watch ourselves. We are 2.75 miles away, 2 3/4 miles away from our stop at Teignmouth. We have 4 minutes before we have to make that stop, but as you can see, we could be there in 3 if not for this limitation. We have to watch those seconds just tack on to our limit for the time. We have to watch that just go up. And there's nothing we can do about it for now. You'd think they would relax the timetable in this area, but apparently not. So you can see the first of 5 tunnels coming up. That is the Kenaway Tunnel. We're going to get a good look at that tunnel today because you can see the yellow T indicator is up ahead, so we are going to get out of the 10 mile per hour speed limit restriction. I've gone ahead and moved up to 10 so I can be ready at our current speed limit to quickly move up to the next speed. And once all 4 cars pass this T, we are safe to proceed. We can now go up to 60 miles per hour. So this is the Kenaway Tunnel. The next tunnel is the Paignton Tunnel. And let me know if you see something that doesn't make sense as we enter that tunnel. Actually, never mind. It looks like on a previous run there was a pile of dirt in front of this tunnel. That pile of dirt seems to have gone away. I'm going to review my tape and check that. but I'm pretty sure it was in front of this tunnel. So coming up we have Fillet Tunnel and then Clerk Tunnel. Then as we come around the corner, the final tunnel is Parsons Tunnel. We are going to be on this track until we get to Teignmouth, and then we're going to be quickly moved over for our stop at Newton Abbot. So our 60-mile-per-hour speed limit is about to go up to 75, only to drop back down to 60. So I'll take advantage of the little bit of time we have to have a few extra miles on our speed, but we're going to have to drop it down immediately because we're only going to be in that zone for about 7/10 of a mile. Make that 8 or 9/10 of a mile. So we're only going to get up to at most maybe 65 if we're lucky. And even now I have to hold off on the speed for a moment so I don't break the speed limit right now. And now I'll go ahead and I'll increase again. I should be fine at this point to increase. Let's see how high we can get before we have to slow it down. We didn't get a warning for the 60-mile-per-hour speed restriction. The AWS beep did not go off, so I'm going to assume that means that the it's not set to give us the warning on this track. It's only set on the other track. It should be working for both directions, but I guess maybe because this is normally the up track, maybe this line doesn't do it on trains going the wrong way on the line. You just have to pay attention and make sure you follow your speed restrictions. Nonetheless, I was down to 60 in time. I'm going to go to a level 2 brake application right now, step 2, because I am coming in very fast. I'm going to ease it to a step 1 for a moment. I am going to move it back to a step 2 now. And back to a step 1. I have a few seconds to make the stop here, so I'm going to watch for our stop location. I'm looking for a 4-car stop. But because we're on the up platform, I don't know if I'm going to actually see one. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop right here. This is a good enough place to stop. Doors are open. Arrival at Teignmouth, platform 2, the up platform. Pulling away from Teignmouth up platform, platform 2. We are about 5 miles away from our next stop at Newton Abbot. And we're going to have to observe a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit because we're going to be diverted with the green signal towards the other line. So we are clear to proceed onto the other line and go at the line speed once we move over, which is what that means. So we're not going to go over 25 miles per hour for right now for that very reason. There is a slight downgrading here, so I have to watch our speed on the junction. Let's just put a quick tad of brake on there to be sure. And we were moderately successful there, so we're going to go ahead and move it on to 60 miles per hour. And after that, we're going to have an increase to as high as 90 miles per hour, which we're not going to reach because we take too long to get up to that speed, but we're going to be in that area. Sounds were a little weird on that one. I forget the name offhand, but I believe this is the bridge that connects to the southern part of the waterway here. So the land to the south of this waterway. The A379, that's what I believe it is. The A379, that bridge. So we've gotten past the major crux of this scenario. The rest of this should just be a generally smooth run from here on. Again, assuming I don't have any more bugs with the train refusing to go, but I am saving at every station just in case. So I'm going to try not to let you see any more of those, if that happens again. So that warning was for the 60 mile per hour speed limit coming up here. It's planted there for any trains that are able to get up to 90, so they have the room to brake. We have a little bit of time to wait, and I'm going to start braking now for that 60. You certainly have no problem getting down to 60. It's getting up from 60 that's a lot harder. I believe this is the second scenario which we've taken where we've gone this path where we have to get down to 40 before Newton Abbot. We're being given a warning for something. I'm not sure what that warning is for, to be honest with you. I didn't see a sign or a signal, so I have no idea what that was for. I don't know if we would have had the warning for the 40 yet. I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down a little bit now anyway, just in case it was. Oh, maybe that's what the warning was for. It seemed a little early. There's the warning for the yellow. The flashing yellow. So I think what that warning was for a flashing double yellow, but the signal was not actually visible. So we never actually got to see the flashing double yellow. I believe that's what it was. So a missing signal along the route, unfortunately. Now, I've just been coasting much of the way here, so I've actually gotten down close to 40 already. I just dropped it down the last little bit. We're coming up on the station anyway. We need to slow down anyway. So I moved up to step 2 braking for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and ease it right off now. I did not need step 2. That was a little bit of a misjudgment on my part. So we've taken our yellow diversion. We're going to go ahead and stop here at Newton Abbot Station. I'm going to try to stop within the confines of the roof here, because I would rather our customers be able to stay a little dry here coming off the train. So I'm going to try to put the entire train under the roof as a courtesy. I think this is now all under the roof, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And arrival at Newton Abbot. Departing away from Newton Abbot Station. We have a little under 6 miles to go until our next stop, which is at Torquay. Or Torquay, whichever one that is set as. I apologize if I've been saying it wrong the entire time. I believe that's supposed to be Torquay, and that's what I've been saying. So, let me know if I am mistaken. We do have a lot of Ontario names that are the same as the names in the UK. You can tell that we have a connection to the UK based on the names of everything we have in Ontario, because that's where the original government for Canada was before the 1867, and all the provinces started to join in after that. Ontario and Quebec were basically Canada. And a lot of the names in Ontario are adopted from the UK. So we have, for example, I know near London there's a Watford in the UK. There's actually a Watford in Canada too. There's a reference to Carlisle. I'm not sure if there's a Newcastle. Waterloo is one of our names, except it's a city, not a station or a street. It's actually a city. Kitchener I don't think is related. Cambridge is one of our names. I don't think Guelph is. I'm going to go ahead and get up to 45 now because that's our current speed limit. What else is there? Those are the ones that come to mind. Those are just the ones that come to mind. I'm not 100% sure where the other ones are. But there is one major one that I can't forget. London, Ontario. And London, Ontario is where the Class 66 trains were actually constructed and then shipped to the UK. So when it comes to freight traffic, if I'm finding scenarios that drive a Class 66, I guarantee you I'm going to enjoy driving that, and I'm going to call that Canadian content. I'm going to call that Canadian content regardless of the livery used, because that is a train that was constructed in Canada. In London, Ontario. A city I lived in at one point. So, and no, I was not part of the team that constructed them. I'm not old enough to be on that team, but I'm sure there are people living in that city who can tell you they were part of the construction of those trains. And I'm going to try and get you more information on the history of the Class 66 when I first drive a freight scenario using it. Or some other service. It might even be a passenger service with it. Who knows? But when I eventually drive it, I will try and get you more of the history. We are on a bit of an uphill gradient right now. A 1 in 141 is starting to get a little steeper to a 1 in 120, 15, 12, 111. So now a 1 in 111 uphill gradient. It's really making it hard to maintain speed. As by the way, the Western Main Line, South Devon Main Line has left us. So we are now on the Paignton extension exclusively. So 4 miles to go on this extension until we get to Torquay. We're going to be skipping the stop at Tor on this service, and we're going to be continuing straight to Paignton. So 2 more stops on this service. I believe 112 points per stop, if I remember that correctly. If I am remembering that correctly, that means there are 1,008 points on offer on this scenario. No, that's wrong. No, that's right. 1,008 points. Math on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Very dangerous. I thought I was speeding for a second, so I quickly panicked and cut off the speed. We actually can go 60 now. I don't know why I'm panicking. We can go 60 now. So that was a pointless panic. Our arrival time is estimated to be 8:35:38. I did not mean to do that. We're going to be early under that. So I'm going to maintain a little bit of speed above the 45 right now. I'm going to cut it down as I come into there. And there's the warning. So I got up to 50. And I'm losing speed nicely, so I'm going to actually maintain speed for a moment. And let's cut it back off. The uphill is cutting the speed off very nicely for us. So we're 1 mile away from our restriction. Let's go ahead and just speed into that restriction as much as we can without going over into it. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut it down permanently to 45. That warning board, I believe, is for the 30 mile per hour speed board, which is coming up in another mile from here. Yep, a mile and a little over a mile. We're on a downhill gradient coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and just keep the throttle off and coast onto that gradient. Then when we start gaining speed, I will lower our speed to compensate, particularly as we go into the 30 mile per hour speed limit. There's the gradient. Settling into a 1 in 111 gradient. Another train going by. And now we're half a mile away from the 30 mile per hour speed limit. So I'm going to go ahead and start reducing our speed in preparation for that speed limit. You did see for a moment this station coming up when we were up around 50 miles per hour. So you saw that a Torquay station is coming up there. I did not mean to release the brakes earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and just try to keep the brakes on now. That was a mistake on my part. That's why you might have seen a very temporary step 2 brake application there to make sure we didn't lose our hard work of slowing down. And we're now down to 30 in time, a little bit early actually. There's Torquay, you can see it coming up now. Whoop, brake it again. There is a 40 right after this temporary 30 restriction. I shouldn't really call it temporary, but because it is a permanent restriction, but 40 right after it. We're not going to have a lot of time to speed up in that area, unfortunately. We are going through a station we do not have to stop at. This, I believe, was Torquay Station. And that's why the gradient also leveled out there, because it was level within the station. Now we're going back onto a downhill gradient. I had to apply a speed brake restriction or brake there again for a moment. Whoa, I thought I was going to speed right there. I was fortunate. Scrambled to find the brake and I found the enter key. Oops. So I got a little bit of a speed increase, and I actually can just keep that for a while because I'm not quite at the platform yet. But I have to take the downhill into account when it comes to hitting the brakes, plus the fact that it's raining. I don't think we're really going to have much in terms of wheel slip with this train. Other trains that are more advanced might have some wheel slip that you have to contend with. But this particular scenario, this particular train doesn't seem to really be affected by the autumn weather or the wheel slip. So not really realistic at all. And I'm okay with that because the timings on these scenarios is often, well, not good. So we are arriving at Torquay Platform 1 right now. We have a full minute to make this stop according to our itinerary, so I'm just going to go ahead and get down to 5, and I'm going to crawl along looking for our parking spot. Or rather, our stopping spot. But I want to get under the roof here, so I'm going to try to accommodate all 4 cars under the roof if I can help it. I've been gaining speed, so I'm going to keep the brakes on now. That was actually our spot, but because the train kept gaining speed, I'm actually going to go a little bit past it. Oh well. We have arrived at Torquay Platform 1. Going to move back to step 1 and open the doors. Departing away from Torquay, we are getting up to speed quickly on this downhill. That's all I can really say about that. Even though we're on level ground, we seem to be gaining speed here. And I think the downhill coming in the station was why we gained speed very quickly coming in too, even though we were trying to stop. But in any case, we are on our way to our final stop, which is Paignton. It is about 2 miles away from us. We have about 6 minutes to, or 5 minutes to get there. Why did I say 6? Our ETA is listed as 8:43. That is most likely not accurate because 40 miles per hour will not lead to that kind of ETA. So that is going to adjust. We have 5 minutes to get there. We are going to get there on time without question. I know we are. So I'm not going to, in fact, you can see our ETA is going to update as we go here. So I'm not worried at all. We are on uphill gradient now, so I'm just going to try to maintain the proper speed on this uphill gradient to keep ourselves going up this hill. There's some kind of an apartment building there with a underpass next to it. Keeping in mind this route was modeled for back in 2013, 2014. So needless to say, the line's going to look a lot different than it does in this simulation. So I'm giving you my best guesses on what everything is, but there may be things that are different today. So the information I'm giving is based on today's research, but may not match the route. You can see the lovely water off to the left there. Not a lot of people in there today. Not really a good day to be in there. We are coming up on a downhill gradient as I cut off my speed at 39 miles per hour. We are now roughly about 2 minutes away from the platform, according to that green station icon coming up there. Getting a warning that probably is referencing a speed warning, it looks like, for the 50 mile per hour speed restriction. There it is. And I analyzed that because I didn't see a signal. We have not received any signal warnings, so I assume that the next signal will be yellow, and I only assume that because it is the end of the line and services do not extend past Paignton, so the signal at the end of the Paignton platform will be a red signal. It would only turn, this difference would be if you see a double yellow and a yellow, or maybe even green yellow, depending how these are set up here. The yellow could be at the end of the platform if you're going to the sidings, and then of course the ultimate double red I showed you last scenario at the end of the sidings where there's no further progress to the Seine Railway. So there is a cutoff for the Seine Railway. And indeed, that double red I'm talking about is right there. You can see that at the end of the line here. Now, since the scenarios don't ask us to park the train at the sidings, we're not going to actually get to go all the way to the sidings. And that's the reason I went ahead and showed you those last scenario before we wrapped on that map. I'm on a bit of a downhill, so I'm gaining speed. I'm going to slow down again. There, as I told you, is the yellow signal. And you may have noticed, just like last time, we had a bing on that yellow signal. That bing would mean it was a green signal, which it should not have been. So the AWS ramp in that area is not working correctly. I'm going to assume on the freeware routes that use the Riviera Line that that has been fixed. I'm also going to assume, I don't know if the Exeter Kingswear has AWS ramps because I don't know if Steam Engines actually use them. So it won't matter for the Kingswear route, I don't think, but for this route it does. It should matter, and it should have been correct. So we're now at Paignton platform. There is a red at the end of the platform. We cannot pass that. We have to stop here at Paignton and get ready to turn around and go back. We're not going to be going back, though. That's going to be another driver. This is a 3-car stop, so I'm going to keep going for a moment. We still have time to stop. You saw the woman looking at her watch there. We're right here, woman. I kind of want to stop at the 3-car sign, but we are a 4-car train, so our front passengers are going to get a little wet. Arrival at Paignton Platform 1. Doors are open. That's the scenario. We're going to take one more look at the train, but before I do that, I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and that helps it get promoted and to other people, and more people will come and watch, and we can build a bit of a community around this. So again, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you. You're a part of the world. We'll take one more look at the train, and then we'll get the end of the scenario. Despite all the disruptions, you managed to provide a smooth, on-time service. Well done. Now, as you can see, I got 2 more achievements. The Riviera Line, we broke free, and the Class 143 Veteran. Class 143 Veteran means we completed all the scenarios. I don't know what the We Broke Free is. You can look at the Steam achievements and find that out for yourself. Like I said, have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you. Depending where this is slotted in the order, this is either next is going to be London to Brighton or Cahoon Pass. One of those 2 will be next. And I'm kind of spoiling Cahoon Pass if I put this before London to Brighton, because I kind of didn't want to spoil it during London to Brighton. But now you know Cahoon Pass is going to be coming after London to Brighton if I put this in before London to Brighton. So there you go. That's a little taste of what's coming up next on the channel. And after Cahoon Pass and one more mystery route, which I will not spoil at this time, I am going to come back to the UK, and I'm probably going to do either the Great Western Main Line or South Wales Coastal. I am undecided on which of the 2 as of yet. But it will be one of those 2, I believe, is the next one I'm going to do here in the UK. I also want to get a German route on the channel. So stay tuned for all that, and that will all be coming up. See you next time. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.